Hello, Libra. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for accommodating the slight change in time. I had to get some things ready for the move, some things that were needed to be sort of taken away, so appreciate that. Apollo's wishing everybody some love today. Wishing you a great start to your month as well, as what we're going to look at here in just a second. I'm going to put Mr. Apollo down so we can begin and talk about your month ahead. All right, so my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks, focusing from now to the end of October, but this is primarily for October. And what I like to do is always begin with channeled messages. I had some really interesting dream imagery that came through last night, an image of a match striking the sort of that sandpaper so that the spark began, and then also like a final leg of a race. So we'll talk about how that's going to be indicative of some of the opportunities and challenges and energies that are coming through. So channeled messages first, then we'll get into the Celtic Cross for today. And there's a lot of other elements that you can see below, and we'll get into those as we get further into the reading. Quick note, please, if you haven't subscribed, now is a great time to do that. As I've alluded to, I will be moving again. This is due to some safety issues where I'm at. Lo and behold, there's some termites in this building, so I'm getting out. And thankfully, my intuition helped me see that. So we'll talk more about it when I'm finally settled. I will be doing the weekend collective on Saturday and instead of Sunday, because I will be moving Sunday. It'll be a temporary move. I'm going to put stuff in storage, and then I'm going to go to a nice Airbnb for a month until I find out where I'm going to go. So this will be an adventure. This will be fun. But and I'll talk more about that experience once I get through it, because I think it's kind of interesting. And I've had intuition popping up over the past month showing me where there were problems, where there were things to look at. And so intuition's beautiful, but sometimes it's like, it can be like, why now? But you have to pay attention to it. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. So if you're wondering why the times are changing, what's going on, why is he moving? It's because I was shown some things both in the third eye and then also in the physical realm, and it's time. So everything will end up in the right place at the right time. I do have faith in that. But please do subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my daily readings, monthly readings, weekly readings, or any of the impromptu ones that I happen to put out there. Okay. You can also follow me on social media. The One Card Reads will always be on all of those social media platforms, but here on YouTube, of course, is where I put most of my content, but I will give updates there and sometimes show behind the scenes footage. Also, if you'd like to show some love and support, you can do it through super chats and super stickers, and membership as well. And with membership, when I do my quarter milestones, I usually will open it up to let you choose the topic or ask some questions, etc. Quick reminder that across all social media platforms, I'll never use direct messages. I'll never use comments to solicit business. I don't offer private readings to that end. And if you have any doubt of like who to go to, etc., go to my website. Basically nicholasashbaugh.com. The schedule isn't up yet for this month. That's normally the link for the schedule. But anyway, you can also go to the main YouTube page and the about from my channel, and it's all listed there. Okay, let's get into the channeled messages. I'm going to pull up the presentation. We'll talk about what's coming through. Feeling pretty good about the month ahead for you just based on the channeled stuff. I have to say that. So we'll take a look and see where that may lead. Okay. Thank you for all the well wishes. Like I said, I'm so grateful to my intuition. About 2 weeks after moving, and I started seeing things, and then I investigated, and then I found out, oh my gosh, this is why I saw it. There are some things going on here. So I would love to get to the point where I can just walk through a space and see it without having to be here for a week or two, but I'm grateful to have it nonetheless. So again, we'll have story time sometime in the next couple of weeks about that, because I think it's really cool to talk about. Maybe I'll put it into a future podcast or something, but different ways that you can read, because there is, it's not just about reading cards. You can read objects, you can read spaces, and you can read people. And the process of doing that is a lot different. Sometimes it's not instantaneous. So yeah, more to come on that. All right, so let's go ahead now and talk a little bit about your spirit totems today. I don't know if I've actually had a match before, but today I did see a match as I was getting up. Again, that sort of striking of the match, and then that final part of the race that you'd be running. So let's take a look here. I think that the match for all of us has to do with finding that spark, that passion in our life. And it's time to either get inspired, be inspired, or sort of find something in your life that does give you that spark so that you look forward to getting up. It's part of vitality, actually. A lot of times when I pull the Ace of Wands and it's reversed, I can tell that someone's kind of lost the wind beneath their sails. So something's up. It can be due to, depression. It can be due to something difficult in their lives, a loss, or something that didn't work out the way they wanted it to. And, there's usually something that you can pinpoint to help alleviate that and then regain your vitality. Now, assuming that you have some ideas and you're just sitting on them right now, this is basically saying this is a perfect time to take something and actually kind of like create that friction, create that movement. So whether we're thinking of like, flint and wood, or we're thinking of like the old-fashioned matches in the matchbook, you have to take the motion. That motion of creating the friction is actually what does it. So you have all the stuff that will create the chemical reaction, all the tools necessary, but you actually have to physically move it to make the fire happen. So this is more of a sort of homework question and a rhetorical question for you to think about, but what are you going to do to ignite the spark? Some of you might be finding it, some of you might have everything in front of you, and if that's the case, the question is, what are you going to do about it? It's a good time right now, even though we're in a retrograde. By the way, this is evidence, like what I'm doing. I'm fixing something that needed to be dealt with, but I'm actually moving. You can move in a retrograde. You can do new things in a retrograde. You can create new stuff. You don't have to wait. Life doesn't wait for the planets. You just have to be careful and mindful of what's going on during this period. But if there's something that you need to get started, retrograde is great for planning, actually. And if you have a timeline where if you don't act now, you would miss something, you can act now. We don't just go into stasis, into like carbon freeze during this period. We just have to be mindful of communication and contracts, but you can still operate. You can still make things happen. All right, let's go to the next slide. Friction inspires change. And by friction, I mean sometimes pressure, agitation, things that are inconvenient, all the stuff we just talked about. If you are not somehow shaken up a little bit in a situation, sometimes you'll stay still. My example here is like I had to start to see things that were bothering me, including like flying termites in the house. And I thought, no, this is not where I'm going to be. And they were one of many agitation points where I thought, okay, that's like the final straw. But for some of us, it could be a work situation where you've been asked for like the last 2 weeks to work late nights every single night. Or it could be a situation where, in a relationship, you're constantly pushing the other person to try to meet you or talk to you. At a certain point, you get agitated. You can actually feel that sort of maybe flush of energy come through you and you think, I've had enough. Or you get really inspired and you think, if I don't do this now, I will regret it. So it can work either way. It can be anticipation, dream, desire, or it can also be frustration, sort of like aggravation, whatever. They're actually both beneficial because they can push you out of something that isn't working into something that will be much more beneficial for you. So friction matches were invented by a chemist named John Walker. They basically had a very similar composition to what the matches are that we use now and today. But basically what I was getting at with the whole metaphor of a match is tension, pressure, or agitation can spark positive movement. Sometimes the universe wants us to move, so it's going to make life uncomfortable. And again, it can be a literal or a figurative move, moving in or out of a job, in or out of a relationship, or in or out of a physical space. Don't get defensive or panic. Figure out how to maximize the situation and the challenge or challenges at hand. Everything in your life does constitute an opportunity to grow or learn. You wouldn't have called it in otherwise. The final mile, the last mile, or the last leg of a race, however you want to refer to it. I basically saw someone that was, your body can actually kind of have these physical spasms, and also you can even have the sort of like quick pains and movements when you're trying to push through that very last moment. And cramps was the word I was looking for. So cramps and then muscle spasms and all sorts of weird things happen to like marathon runners, right? And that final portion of the race. At that point, it actually becomes more of a mind over body and a mind over matter sort of thing. So you may be pressed up against some sort of a deadline or a challenge where your body just wants to go to sleep, and your brain may even be a little bit sick of it, but you're going to find like this, it's like an ace card in tarot where that hand from God, from the universe, from the divine, from your higher self is going to push you through to the final sort of finish line. This is a test of your character, your endurance, and your dedication. So you can do it. Basically, what I'm seeing here is you can do this, and that's why I chose the Wheel of Fortune here. It's right within reach. So now's the time to double down a bit and not walk away. And actually, if we go back to the previous slide, that's why I chose the Seven of Wands here. Because that pressure, that agitation is making you sort of like get up and do something. And also you can handle anything. This is a good card for multitasking. You don't want to get defensive. You want to get creative. You want to multitask. You want to delegate. You want to focus. And we'll talk more about that here on the next card. So pacing and speed are going to be the most important things over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks, because there's a lot on your plate. There's a lot of opportunities that could be knocking at your door. So things could speed up before they slow down. Be prepared to multitask. Be prepared to juggle, and also feel empowered to say no. And I always like to mention that when I see the Six of Pentacles, it's okay to just say, I don't feel this right now, or I'm not up to this right now. You are basically the one that has to manage your own energy, and at the end of the day has to feel good about what you're doing. So if you pace yourself, you'll have more than enough to get through this and to prosper. And that's really what this is about right now. I think that is the final slide. Yeah. So generally speaking, I see the ability for some of you to come up with this idea, the spark of inspiration. Some of you may need to find something because you feel bored or stuck or agitated. And then the good news here is that you can actually achieve all that you want, but you will be put through a little bit of a pressure test. And all you want to do is keep thinking how important it is for you to get to that other side. Remind yourself exactly why it is that you are engaged in doing this, and things are going to work out. All right, let me see. I may just use the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I don't do that very often. Let me look really quickly in my, I had to put everything in boxes, but let me look in my box and see if anything else calls. Otherwise, I'm going to use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Let me see here. Could do the Field Tarot. Maybe we'll do Field Tarot. All right, we'll do the Field Tarot. Give me a second here to get everything set up. And we will begin. All right, so we'll zoom in on the table and get started. How's everybody doing today? Thanks again for being patient as I was getting everything set up. I do appreciate that. All right, here we go. I'm noticing at my end a little bit of pixelation. Let me know if you can see me okay. All right. Yeah, this is a beautiful deck. I'm glad I went with this one. People wonder why I don't use, for myself and for my everyday stuff, I usually use Rider-Waite-Smith, but I think it's so much more fun and engaging to work with some of these other decks from day to day. So they're just beautifully illustrated. Yeah, Mercury retrograde is definitely in full effect on the broadcast date anyway, because this morning, what was it? Basically, the power went out this morning, and I thought, really? And I was like, please hold for today's reading, and I'm glad that it's working right now. Looks like you have a pretty good month ahead based on the cards in front of us. Pretty amazing, actually. A couple of challenges here, but we're going to work through them and make it an amazing experience. I'm a big proponent of free will if you're new to my channel. So What I try to do is look at everything, like I said, as an opportunity to grow, to experience things, and to come out successful. Why else are we doing this thing that we call life, right? Yeah, this is a really nice deck, actually, and I'm using the, the Field Tarot. I like it because it has like just enough design, but not too much. All right, let me just refresh my computer to the side and then we'll get started. Okay, well, I'm going to trust you that you can see everything. For some reason, my Wi-Fi is a little off, but as long as you can see me, I'm connected on Ethernet, everything's good, we're good. All right, so let's begin. I look forward to not being in this room too, because the light is too bright behind me. I'm going to have to adjust the ISO while we look at the cards, so give me 1 second. We're going to go to down a couple stops so you can see the cards. So here we go. Your catalyst card right now is the Archangel Chamuel, I think it is, basically, and it's about opening the heart space. Interestingly enough, I was actually shown this a couple of days ago. This 6-pointed star has been coming up a lot in readings. And if you look closely at the Star of David or 6-pointed stars, it's basically made up of 2 arrows, one that's pointing up and one that's pointing down. It's a very balanced symbol, a lot of sacred geometry there. So it's connecting you to basically everything. And really, if you look at it in the right way, all of the elements are included in that: earth, air, water, fire, etc. So in this moment, we really want to make sure that the heart is receiving everything that it needs. It can't just be about love. It can't just be work. It can't just be school. We're looking for a balancing of energies within the heart space. And so if there's anything that you need to do to really make that heart feel like it is loved, like it is supported, like, you know, it's so interesting too. I found a lot of synchronicities with the daily card pulls. So take a look at this morning's. If you're watching live, there was the 2 of Cups in reversed. And I mentioned that the most important, and oftentimes, I mean, it's the first relationship that we have, it's with ourselves, and then, you know, our parents and siblings, but ourselves first and foremost. And throughout our lives, that's going to be the consistent relationship. You're never alone. You always have yourself to rely on. As I'm kind of going through this move, I've realized that I can rely on myself. I can make this work. Yesterday, I had to take apart the bed frame and stuff like that. And that's very technical for me. I'm good with computers, but getting a bunch of screwdrivers and pulling things apart, that was different. That's not something I normally do. But you can do this. And the 2 of Cups is basically saying that. And so is this card. And it's saying, go into your heart space and basically give yourself more credit. Think to yourself, I'm strong, I'm capable, and I'm deserving of a positive outcome in whatever situation it is that you have. You can work with this archangel to help you remove any barriers or limiting thoughts that take away from that sort of belief or power. And this gives you an opportunity right now to release that, okay? So beautiful energy there. But some of you are close to receiving something that you want, but you have to work on validating what I said at the end of my 1 card pull today, which is, I am ready to receive love, abundance, opportunity in the highest forms, in divine timing. If it wants to happen now, then I must be ready now, because the universe wouldn't give me something that I'm not ready for. I'm telling myself that too as I go through changes. I'm like, I'm ready. I prepared. I wouldn't get something that I couldn't handle. So if you think about it that way, suddenly you'll notice tension go way down, opportunity go way up, and your heart just starts to take like a deep breath and great things start to happen for you. As we go to the center here, many of you are moving in, moving out, or transitioning closer to a goal. So we have the beautiful 6 of Swords, and I like how here it's illustrated with just the word transition. So the question here truly is, are you ready for that next step? Are you ready to move into something? Hopefully you are. The 6 of Swords, of all of the sort of transitional or death or movement cards, what I like about this one is it's active and it's also empowered. So the Four of Swords is passive. That's basically waiting for something to just go away, right? It can be ghosting. To some degree, this can be ghosting, but usually Four of Swords I would more associate with that. It's not answering, not doing, and just hoping something resolves itself. It can also be grief that's naturally taking its course and time healing everything. It's also a very positive card. And being at peace. We like all of those. With the Six of Swords, however, usually you would see a person in the boat and at least one passenger, sometimes a ghost too in the boat. And it's saying, what am I going to take with me to the next part of there's a few things. First of all, it's saying, am I ready? Am I ready for this opportunity? What do I want to take with me from my past experiences to apply here? And do I have any regrets? Because if you do, this is the time to figure out the root or the source so that it doesn't repeat. Because you have a chance right now, especially for those of us that are watching it during retrograde, to let go of those past cyclical things. Enough is enough with that, right? So that was your center card, the beautiful Six of Swords, all about transition, all about gentle movement, but you are driving that ship. That's the only thing that was missing from that, is that you should be the driver, not the passenger. We have the Hierophant on top of this card, which is saying, I'm making and breaking cycles this month, and you're also capable of deciding like if you want to do as you're told or just do as you want to do, because the Hierophant can be the boss or it can be the person that is being bossed around. So you have a chance this month to basically step into leadership if you so desire, and that could be really exciting for some of you. I always like to remind folks that the gatekeeper, as it was originally imagined, kind of is fading with the more we kind of connect with our own power and our own energy. So I would say, remember, you always have the key. You always have the right to say no. And there may be someone blocking your path right now, just like we see in this one. This could be your boss, your mom, your dad, or a friend, someone close, someone that you care about, and you know what you need to do, but they may say, I don't know about this, or are you sure, or wouldn't it be smarter to do this? Now, if there's a constructive follow-up to that, and it's not just fear-based, you can listen. But if it's more fear-based, like, wouldn't it be better to just stick with something that's predictable? You're going to have to really do soul-searching on that and think to yourself, I don't know, would it? Because to me, it looks like right now it's all about moving away from something here that has created some unhappiness and moving more towards empowerment, moving more towards taking care of things on your own. So I see two cards of empowerment actually here on the horizon, but you have to get through a tricky situation first. This person could actually be the source of the Three of Swords. So there could be, like I said, boss or parent or friend stepping in the way and trying to block you through guilt, through manipulation of some sorts too, and maybe even some gaslighting, just making you think that it's not about what you know it is about. Instead, it's like they could try to discount it. It's nothing, or nobody else has talked about this. That's a very interesting thing sometimes, because even if no one else has complained or brought something up or had an idea, in no way, shape, or form does that invalidate your truth. It may even just emphasize it. You're the one that's bringing about the change, because your card at the center is change. It's a very manageable change card. It's not like death is a lot more energy. It's like very clear that it has to happen. With this, you get to choose how fast, how far, how often to kind of like steer this ship in which direction. You've got a lot of power. Don't let this person stand in the way and take away power for those of you that have a gatekeeper. And for those of you that think you need a gatekeeper, you can do this. It's all about personal empowerment for Libra this month, and I think that's pretty exciting. And this is not as big as it seems. Very rarely would I say that, but I see the attachment to this. It's either a fear of leadership or a leader that's putting fear in the way. And either way, you can manage it. You're just going to go around that illusion, okay? As we look at your deep past, we have the High Priestess. Amen to this. This is a card for manifesting, for connecting with source energy, for really being all that you can be. I'm just going to take this down another stop so we can see the details on this a little bit more. So beautiful card here. One of the most important things for you to do in this moment is to really Understand that there is responsibility, opportunity, and power that comes with intuitive abilities and creativity. And this month, that's where you're going to shine. So if you feel, if you see, if you connect with something, honor that, do something with that, because you have the capability to breathe life into it in this moment in time. Okay? And I love that it's connecting nicely to the strength card here too. So what this is saying is not only is there accuracy in what you're picking up on, but there's strength in that approach. There's something that is going to also be able to win over even the harshest critic, because, you know, the traditional card has a female figure opening up the mouth of a lion, and basically you can persuade. It's a very persuasive card. You can persuade other people to move in a direction they normally wouldn't. It's about knowing how to do it without being too forceful, because that's the dance of the strength card. We see a very peaceful energy here. We actually don't see any sort of need to dominate, which is great. I actually think that that's much more of a modern take on this card, because it should just be divine feminine in all its glory. And maybe in the distance you can see like the lion or something, or there's a calm lion. I really don't always like to see the need to open up a mouth or push energy, because I think that the strongest leader or the strongest person in your life usually doesn't have to say or prove or demonstrate that strength. They carry it with them. And that's what we see in this card, in her body language, in her confidence, and then just in that, or in his, we can't really tell, in their sort of energy, they're carrying that sense of, I can do this. And this, I'm not bothered by whatever challenge that comes along, because I basically have all that it takes to, again, maximize this situation, okay? So let's look at the crowning card here. We have, it says reliability here, but the Prince of Discs, the Knight of Discs here. This card always kind of like makes me take a second look at it because of all of the protection and all of the sort of fortification that's being done on this. One thing that's important to remember is that there has to be some accessibility. So I think that there may be too much of a guard that's put up for some of you. We look at the environment, we have almost the opposite here. So this may be the immediate feeling like I have to protect myself. The truth is it's somewhere between these two cards, because we have a queen and a knight. The queen showing the ability to be a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more open, and definitely to connect with people easier by doing that. And this one is saying, but I also need to protect what's important in my life. So you're going to be dancing that dance a little bit this month when it comes to maybe like intellectual property, legal issues, health and safety, all of that stuff you need to protect, of course. But when it comes to maybe opening up the heart just enough to be vulnerable, accessible, or relatable, that's where you want to kind of take that shield and maybe pull it down just a bit. Because unless we're open, unless we can relate, and unless we kind of share some of our experiences with others, it kind of makes us feel, you come across as a robot, right? So or too sort of guarded. So find the balance between protecting what matters and opening up to possibilities. That's really what I'm getting with the combination of cards here. Some of you are already going through what we see here in the Three of Swords. And basically what's happening is there could be disappointment. There could be a person that's creating some friction, which we talked about. Whatever it is, the friction or the inciting incident is actually going to bring you to a better horizon. So yes, it's a little bit tricky at present, but it will not stay there, because this is just your near future. When we look at your outcome card, we have the Page of Swords. So this is you taking up a new opportunity. This is you stepping into something better. This is saying, I found my voice, I found my way, and I cut the cords that I needed to cut. And to me, that's pretty exciting. So yes, there's for many of you something that's going to create discomfort or lack of ease, but it will be beneficial in the long run. Okay? So for the rest of you, it's just healing. Because, by the way, some of you may have already dealt with this. You could have, this can be going through divorce. This could be the end of a legal battle. This could be the end of a breakup. And basically, we see two very strong figures here, by the way, Strength and the Hierophant. If this is a partnership and it is sort of dissolving, which it could be, that's a lot of energy. So it'll take a little bit of time for healing, but there's so much opening up for you while you're going through this transition that you're not going to stay in this transition energy for too long. I feel like this is something within 3 or 4 weeks that you'll be focusing on other things. In fact, as we kind of like look at the environment with this Queen of Pentacles, something needs your attention. And let's kind of look at the two. This is, we have two wonderful cards on either end of it. We have the Seven of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. So this is the first card that I want to focus on. It's next in the spread, and it also carries with it a couple of lessons that we want to make sure, particularly for those watching in retrograde, that you get through. It's about knowing limits and knowing that history doesn't have to repeat itself. Patience is also really important. Let's pull the traditional card for this one, because as beautiful as that is, it doesn't tell the story of the Seven of Pentacles. So I'm going to pull both of the traditional ones just so we can see it. Sometimes you need the person in the card. While I'm getting it, I'll describe what it's going to show. Basically, we see a person frustrated either with the fact that they got themselves into a tricky situation again. Again, the trickiness is usually with overextension of time, energy, or money. It could also be frustration that they don't have what they want fast enough. It's like watching water boil or waiting for a plant to bloom and flower. Just staring at it doesn't make the time pass anymore. And we can't rush certain processes, and we can't rush healing. And all of these things are part of these two cards. So I found them both. We're going to talk first about the Seven of Pentacles. This really, really accurately shows the frustration of why isn't this happening faster, or why did this happen again, or why don't I have as much as someone else has? The truth of the matter in this is that you are trending in the positive. You are trending towards growth, but you have to make sure that you keep your balance and keep focusing on the higher energy. So we actually see all the colors of the rainbow, all the colors of our chakras here. And this is basically saying, let's focus on going towards that light at the end of the tunnel, not in the challenges where you're at right now. Okay? But don't rush, don't overspend, don't overextend. Really using the balancing energy that I talked about with Six of Pentacles is going to be so important. In the environment, you have this ability to have the Midas touch, and things are really benefiting from your energy. That's why you want to be more discerning. If you have less right now, if you don't have enough, your ability to kind of work on it and work your magic brings more abundance. Now we have the Eight of Pentacles. So we're going to look, you're basically moving from this card to this card via the Queen of Pentacles, which makes a lot of sense. She is accountable, she is dedicated, she is nurturing, she is abundant. And that's why we see this, pregnant woman here, basically, the ability to take something and see it through to fruition, project, as well as traditional birthing of something. So this leads you to the ability now to do more. All of this is setting you up so that you're going to have more than you've had before. And many of you may actually be thinking of going back to work or school or training, something of that nature. There could also be an opportunity for you to be a mentor for someone else. We see the lone wolf energy fading a bit. So here's the lone wolf looking up at the moon phases. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse saying it's speeding up, as I mentioned earlier. Time is speeding up a bit, the perception of it. And there are people coming into your life as well that can help. And I even saw that with today's one card read. So be open to that and apply yourself. And I see a good return on any investment if you're feeling excited about it when it comes to school, training, or a project of your liking. So again, that's why earlier I was talking about finding your spark. This is the time to really apply yourself. And now we're moving to the outcome card here. We have the Princess of Swords, a Page of Swords. So for some of you, you're going to decide to put something into action. Pages are very active. They also are mediums. They are the conduit between one person and sometimes something getting done. So for some of you, you may be really hands-on this month. You might have a lot of things, just like I was talking about constructing or taking apart something. You might roll up your sleeves and decide to just really get head on into some sort of a construction project or some sort of school or other kind of endeavor, and I like that. For many of you, you may also find that the words and ideas are flowing more freely through you. Make sure that you write that down and record it. The page needs to record the messages that they're receiving. And then also, if you want to change the world around you, the key to that is actually put here, and it says it's curiosity. So ask the difficult questions. Say the things that people may or may not want you to say, because this is your moment to shine and to show your insight and to show why it's important for them to pay attention to these things. Okay? We're going to move on now to an expanded version of the forecast where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each one of these is multi-part, and as I look at health, we're going to be focusing on free will and energy. If anything's going on in your mental or physical health, obviously you want to work with your professional for that. Let's look at your oracle card, and we see Buddha here with increased awareness. The interesting thing with this is it connects nicely to your deep past high priestess energy. And it says, deep connection, trust your inner voice. It was reversed. So the biggest challenge for some of you is, I think I see this, I feel I need to do this, but should I do this? Yes, your intuition is awakening. This is a time where, since this is in health, we would want to spend a little bit more time and energy on meditation, a little bit more time and energy on maybe reading about spirituality and focusing on that. And then also engaged in creative endeavors, dancing, writing, singing, art, even therapy, anything that allows you to get what's coming through your crown and your throat out so that you can then become clearer and then see and hear and feel things much more clearly as the months and weeks progress. Let's go ahead and see if there's some specific messages centering around health. The first card that I am drawn to always, if it pops up like this, would be taking care of mental health. So this can indicate not just things in the body, but also sadness, disappointment, grief. The two of these together definitely could be connected with grieving something. So reach out. There's someone around you that will support you, that can hold that space for you. Whether it's someone that is in a professional sort of capacity like a doctor or a friend, I see that resource ready. So look around or find the resource if you need it. That's also going to help you heal your heart. And that's really what we've got here. Open your heart, heal your heart. These two cards are definitely connected. Okay, the other thing here is creating a manageable sort of routine in your life. So the Hierophant is organized. This could be a new exercise routine. This could be also getting organized, cleaning up any messes that might be in your life. That's one thing that the Hierophant does very well, is to set things in a positive trajectory. If you feel like something's not the way that it needs to be, ask about that. Talk to the right doctor, because this is a perceptive card. So is this card. And they're basically saying you're only going to have challenges if you don't listen to yourself. This can also indicate stress and stress management. We don't want that to eventually settle into the actual heart itself, but poor diet, poor exercise, or poor stress management absolutely can stress the heart out. I am not a cardiologist, but I can see that stress could be something that you're dealing with. So if that's the case, work on that so that you can have a happy body and a happy energy as well. Change of location or venue could help. So if you're burned out and maybe you work better in a group, or you work better outside, or your living situation is just not to your liking, this is a chance for you to change that up, and that will help you out as well. I think otherwise things are pretty good here. The Seven of Pentacles can also be about under or overdoing things and knowing when and where to sort of like fix that. So eating too much, drinking too much, having not enough vitamins or something of that nature. Balance is off with the Seven of Pentacles, but it can easily be regained just by making smarter choices. So that's the main message there. Okay. By and large, things are good. You are picking up on things that you should be paying attention to. So don't second guess yourself. Do add more meditation into your life. That will help you out. All right. We are now going to move on to wealth. We have Thoth coming through with a direct message about writing. This is also connected to like rebirth, I would say. So for some of you, you might be breathing life back into something again. And this could be like a second chance at something that you thought you couldn't do. So that's always exciting. The writing piece could be school, journaling, literally writing like a bid, a proposal, a paper. It could be for also for those of you that are in science, it could be some sort of a journal, something where you could get published, but this is a very good card. Also look at the fine print. All of these things come through on that. All right, now looking specifically at the cards for some other messages around wealth. I think some of you are done with something that you've been working on. This shows both feet out the door, basically, and you're starting to get in that ship here. So if you're unhappy, here's the good news. You have the capacity to find something or make something happen. I feel like you can manage your resources for a little bit of time here. But what's important at the next state of the journey for you is to make sure that you have a voice and you have some power, because we see both of those. And also I would say just be really engaged with what you're doing. All of the small stuff, the fine print, really matter. And if it just feels like you're going through the motions, this isn't the case. So this isn't the place. Remembering again that you have the key to your own happiness. Sometimes we think that sits with someone else, but this card is reminding you that it does not. Let's see if there's anything else here that we should be focusing on with respect to wealth. Like I said earlier, training, very, very good. As long as you can afford the training, I think there's going to be a great return on that. You might be able to get someone to pay for it. If you're working for a company, they might pay for a class for training, for instance. A lot of times you have to stay there an additional year to make sure that they keep that, but whatever it is, it might be worth it. Let me see if there's anything else that we want to focus on. Just working on strength of your body. So this could be as simple as working with like Pilates. Pilates, by the way, is not simple, but like not necessarily needing any sort of weights. You could be using just your body and poses. So like yoga and Pilates can constitute this as well. Or swimming, because you're building muscles through natural sort of resistance. But that's what I see is trying to have a stronger body. As I'm reading this or as I'm saying this, I also have a crown chakra activation. And whenever I get this feeling of like ants on my head, for some of you, I think that there is, you have to work through the agitation in your life. So is it your partner? Is it your job? Is it something else around you? Because that's also holding you back from being able to perceive things as clearly as they should be perceived. Could it just be me talking about health and fitness and you're thinking, I don't want to do it? So there was inner resistance that I was picking up on. Now that I've addressed it, it's gone away and my scalp feels normal. But yeah, I felt like someone was just kind of like putting their hands on their head or scratching their scalp. So that to me is usually agitated thoughts. So work on that if you have any of those as well. And try not to send them to me while I'm doing the live reading. Let me see if there's anything else here that we want to look at. This is a really great time for those of you that may have been trying to conceive here. Obviously, this is a very like on the nose sort of thing here, but with the Queen of Pentacles, she is the card that I would associate with motherhood for sure, of all the different queens. Normally you would see her with a bunny rabbit as well. If you're not looking to have a child, that's also just a warning there, because this is a very fertile card. But let's see. When it comes to just general wealth here, I think that this is going to say that you can really make anything happen if you focus on it. Again, we had a little bit of overlap with health wanted to come into wealth, but I would say you can do this on your own if you want to do something. Strength, Hierophant, and Queen of Pentacles, these are all entrepreneurial cards. This is knowing how far you can stretch things and not doing it until you've basically gotten enough of a security blanket in place, and then I see things moving quickly here, okay? You may want to partner up with someone this month. The Queen and the Knight are nicely matched, so this can be partners in business for sure. It can also be bringing in a friend as well. Be careful with that if it is a friend, because you want to make sure that the lines are not blurred, that they are compensated for the work that is done, and I think as long as you do that, you'll be all right. But yeah, what I see for most of you right now is moving out of something that you don't like, whether it means changing something in your habits or just making a complete change in your life. And then I see you taking a lot more power, because we have tons of power cards. We actually have a lot of court cards coming through too. So this is a month for you to find your voice, find your power, and improve your financial situation because of that Midas touch. So it's a good month for work, and it's a good month also for health, because everything is moving in that direction. And I think, honestly, health and wealth blur together a lot, because when you're not happy, you're usually not successful. If you're stressed out at work, then your health can often suffer. You need to have a balance in the two of them. And if you can strike that balance this month, both are going to improve tenfold. All right, so let's move on from health and wealth to most people's favorite. We're going to look at love. We have forgiveness and understanding. Card is reversed. It can be hard to be in that energy of forgiveness, especially if someone has done something where you feel like I've been taken advantage of, or this has made my life more difficult, or I'm just angry and I don't know what to do with that anger. Fair enough, it's an emotion that you're processing. However, let's kind of move through it. We're going to look at 3 different levels: in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. If you're in a relationship, this is where I see the most challenge for many of you. One partner could be traveling for work. This doesn't have to mean that there's like anything's on rocky ground or anything like that. It just means like distance. You could also be in the same room and feel like you're not connecting. So it's either a physical distance, or it could be sort of space in your brain. And we see that here because this is putting your guards up. So the biggest challenge is opening up and being vulnerable. And that's why it's kind of cool that we see a card here without any clothing. Actually, 2 of the strongest cards don't have clothing. It's kind of like when you look at a Greek or Roman statue. The nudity was a sign of power and boldness, basically. And so this is a time to be bold and vulnerable and be there for each other. It's also interesting. We have some divine feminine energy and they're not looking at each other. Have you noticed that? Strength is looking this way and Queen of Pentacles is looking this way. They're both very strong cards, even though one is in the major arcana and one is in minor arcana. They're both queens, basically, and they're both looking in different directions. So I would say the important thing for you right now is to find a way to find common ground and to meet in the middle. These 2 need to look this way and meet in the middle and talk about whatever this is. It's manageable. Definitely is, because we see lesson learned and applied and we see communication open. So as long as you're willing to empathize or meet halfway, it could work. If, however, you're at a point where you're like enough is enough, you're also going to be okay, because this tells me you've already made your decision on some levels and it's just about putting it into action. And you're going to pick the right time, you're going to pick the right place, and then you're going to say what's on your mind, okay? You don't need to get defensive. You just want to stick to the facts and state the truth. That's my advice when it comes to difficult conversations. Find the resolve first, like the feeling I am going to do this, or this is the way it is, or this is what's going on. Really get solid in that so that when you deliver what you need to say, it comes across very strong, but also with this sort of sense of ease, like you don't have to push it, you're not faking it, you're not putting a questioning tone. So if you need to say, I'm done with this now, or I'm leaving here, I'm doing this, you just say it, and that's it. There's no sort of opening or questioning or fear or anxiety. Work through that first before you deliver the news or the message. Sorry about hitting the mic. So that it's easy for that person to receive it and think, okay, now what am I going to do? So there you go. Let's take a look at those of you that might be looking for love. Let the dust settle. Whenever I get the Tower, Death, or Six of Swords in the center, it's saying you're moving in the right direction. You're moving away from something you don't like, and you're moving towards better things. But I think you need to give yourself at least half, if not 3/4 of the month to let the dust settle a bit, to get some structure, to get some organization in your life at this moment. And here's the cool thing, Libra, for all facets of relationships. We start off in a slight deficit when it comes to energy, because really pentacles can be resources and energy. You take care of yourself. You do what you need to do. Your energy returns. Your voice returns. And then you see someone in your life that recognizes that as well. So you're opening yourself up. You're in that right direction. But I really think you need to give yourself at least half, if not 3/4 of the month. I would say if you're looking for love, the very end, as we start to get closer to Halloween. Could be a lot of fun. That very last week is going to be magical. And we'll be doing some special readings this year. That's always my favorite one. I like to do a Day of the Dead or Halloween special. So we'll do something really important then, because it gives us a chance to honor spirits that have passed. It gives us a chance to really connect when that veil is thin. This is a magical period for Libra anyway, because birthdays are happening both, as you're looking at this live and then next month. So this is going to be a good month. I can already feel it, even though we're in the throes of retrograde, because I believe retrograde comes to heal things for you. And many of you are really close to getting that healing energy done and in the right direction. But there's just a little bit of work. So do the work right now. so that as these new people come into your life, you're feeling strong, you're feeling powerful, and you're looking at the opportunities as they come in. Because right now, there could be someone even in the periphery waiting for you to get your life sorted out. And so the sooner you sort it out, the sooner you can experience some love, which is great. I love that I see an improvement in empowerment and resources that makes you more attractive, that makes you more ready for that opportunity, and you're not going to repeat history. This is in the past. This is saying, I'm letting it go. Done. And some of it is that gatekeeping energy. You don't need someone there to hold your hand or open the door. You can do this on your own. When you do that, you're going to pull in a stronger person that will not be codependent and will be exactly what you're looking for. Okay? So a little bit of waiting, but totally worth the wait. And I'm the kind of reader that's not going to promise love until you're ready, and you need to do a little bit of work, but it's coming. If you finish that work sooner, you've got a lot of options on the table, actually. There's so many here. So I think the number two thing that you want to focus on after this personal work and the dust is settled is to really focus on what you want. Who are you looking for? What do you want? What are you trying to do in your life? Get really sorted out, and that's going to help take away some of the... it'll limit the options so that what you have, you'll have fewer but better. And I think that's the most important thing. Okay. For those of you that are single and happy, it's a really good time for all the reasons I just mentioned to be single and happy. Focus on personal development, growth, reinvention, rebirth. All of that is really at your fingertips this month. Write some stuff down. Your voice is always powerful because you're air and you're very good with communication. But some of you, by the way, because this is in wealth, may be getting noticed. So this could be an article written about you. This could be an interview. You could be writing something. These two cards are all about writing. So this is a time for you to really show your stuff. And I think that's great. The whole opportunity this month can also be about personal forgiveness and personal understanding. This isn't always an external thing. It always begins within anyway. So if you've made a misstep, if you feel like you've been spinning your wheels, a lot of these things we've been talking about in the daily read, so it's nicely connecting here. I would just say there is no wasted time. There is no wasted experience. As long as you know what you did and what you're doing and what you don't want to do again, then you're trending in the right direction. Okay? That's the relationship portion. Let's look at your destiny card. Well, isn't this appropriate? Because we saw the match at the beginning. And it's like literally what I put on the card, right? Ignite your passion. Something very close to that. Let's see what I wrote. Like, that is uncanny. I put find your spark. I'll take it. Close enough. This is all just about choices and words here. So finding your spark and then igniting your passion. These two are definitely complementary energies. So what I put on here on the slide was to take an idea and research and develop it. And if there's an offer on the table, make sure that you are emotionally and mentally invested in what you're doing. Because if the fire's missing, you're just striking matches and nothing's happening, okay? And some of you may have a really strong fire placement as well in your chart somewhere. It could be in your rising or in your moon or Virgo. I'm not Virgo. It could be in your, I say that because my Venus is in Virgo. But it could be your Venus as well. So figure out where your fire is. And put the energy into that this month, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised with where that takes you. But you're not stuck, and things are going to go faster when you simply think to yourself how like you're powerful and you're connected to this. I've had this mantra out for a month or so, but like I can, I am, I will. The can piece, the ability piece is fine. Being able is great, but being directed in that ability and really sitting with that ability and saying, I will do it, I am doing it. So just focus on getting in a present, positive sort of energetic state, and that's when things start to take off, okay? So we like this. Let's go ahead now and focus on the big idea. The big idea is what's next. So we know where the work needs to be done. We saw that with this. Opening up your heart, healing your heart, and it actually came through pretty nicely with this. We also saw that the big opportunity this month is to develop things, okay? So how can we do that? The big idea will tell us kind of how we can ignite the spark. So let's shuffle the cards and see how this is going to work out for you. Nine of Pentacles. All right, this is always an exciting card. The Nine of Pentacles is one of independence, sustainability, patience, and persistence. And it does remind us that it takes a moment to get there. So I'm going to pull this as well. The only thing that's lacking in this deck is you need the people on the Pentacles cards. I have to say it adds something to it because it shows I think swords too, it like shows what's going on, because swords, there's always like trickery, deception, or things that are missing. And then with Pentacles, we see how much work or how much return we're getting. So with the Nine of Pentacles, here's what's happening for some of you. You are fiercely independent. And at a point where you think, if I ask for help, does that make me less powerful, or does that make me dependent upon someone? No, especially if it allows you to get to that extra leg of the journey a little bit faster. I'm gonna look one more time because the card is eluding me. But typically we would see a woman in a garden with a little snail in front saying, good things happen, but they don't always happen on the timeline that we want. Here we go. Richly abundant card here. So you can see the lovely garden snail, which is my favorite in that one. We see the luxury of this card, and we see the low-hanging fruit, which is finally there for her. So you are very close to achieving what you want. You're probably going to have more than you think you need in this moment. But the important thing is it takes time and it takes patience. In many levels and in many ways, there's still a little bit of a reminiscent energy of what we saw with the Seven of Pentacles earlier. So where that guy was looking and thinking like, why am I not there yet? Kind of like the little kids, mom, dad, are we there yet? So you're very close, but you want to focus on opening up to receiving some help, because you could actually get past this and go straight to the Ten of Pentacles. So if we look at the cards on the table, what I'm seeing here at the center there's a partnership opportunity. This is what you're bringing. This is what they're bringing. Also, I see evenly matched energies. One is a lot more contemplative. One is a lot more hands-on and sort of managerial. So I think that the partnership could be very complementary, could really help you to that next level. And this could be talking to a therapist. This could be going to a mentor. This could be taking a class. This could be loving someone and working together to achieve common goals in your life. So it could be a romantic partnership where you're actually lifting each other up, or it could be business. But it's about people. And that was also what I saw today with the Two of Cups. And a lot of times when I'm reading the daily card, it's connected to the daily reading, and it is for you too as well, Libra, okay? So people in your life actually will bring more power, opportunity, and support. So open yourself up to that, okay? But I see you trending absolutely in the right direction with the Nine of Pentacles. All right, let's focus now on the next portion, which I should identify before I pull the cards. Blessings and blocks. The blessings and blocks are things that are going to help you get to the next leg of the journey, and some things that could possibly hold you back. So the blessing this month is the King of Cups. I don't think I've seen this one. This is a cool card. And then the block is the Seven of Wands, getting overly defensive, which we talked about. And I think I highlighted it in the channeled messages. So I'll talk about that in a moment when we get to it. I forget that sometimes with cups, it's usually fairer hair, and sometimes it can be white hair, gray hair, basically, not just always like blonde or lighter hair. So that's cool. All right. So for your positive energy, your blessings this month, this is the wisdom of the heart, because this is actually an older King of Cups. We usually don't see the old gray-haired king sitting on the throne. So many of you have been through a few relationships, a few experiences. You've loved and you've lost. You could also have, this could actually constitute like a pet that has passed in spirit, a parent that is gone, a sibling or a child. And this changes us, right? Speaking from experience, death is one of the most amazing and also like painful teachers in your life. And it's not something that kind of like goes away immediately. And the cool thing for you though is it's helping you move into a better space. You have to go through the Three of Swords, but you will get to the Queen of Pentacles. You will get to the Princess of Swords, which is abundance and voice. Sometimes when we step away from someone, whether they're still here or in spirit, it helps us regain pieces of ourselves that we forgot. So I see you finding pieces of your personality, your past, dreams and ambitions, and they're coming back to you. even if you're staying in a relationship, it's almost like you're reclaiming these lost pieces, and you're kind of like finding yourself. And this is very cool in this period of time. Love, nurture, honor, and explore those parts of your heart that are coming through now. That, after all, is what we saw with Chamuel here, this ability to basically love yourself and get back into that relationship with yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in an understanding of, oh, I've always had this potential. Oh, I owe it to myself to do this. Oh, I actually do deserve this, and I'm grateful that it came into my life. It's a reminder of just how important you are. Nobody really says that to us after we grow up, after we get out of school. You're lucky if you have some friends and family that remind you of how much you mean to them. But today, this card is coming through to say, love yourself, appreciate yourself. And by the way, love is coming in for some of you, and it could be in the energy of the King of Cups, which is one of the best partner cards, because not only does it have that sort of strong energy that you would expect in a king card, it can be male or female, but basically really strong character, but very emotionally available, very open, very loving. And that's a very compatible energy with Libra. So I see a sensitive, kind, and experienced partner who may have a few gray hairs as well, or has been through some experiences just like you. All right, so open yourself up to love. And you can listen to my daily card pull today on a little mantra at the end on how to do that. The only block that I see for you is you may be putting up those defenses. You may have filled the moat, raised the drawbridge, and thought to yourself, it's never going to happen. Or I only attract this type of person, if you're looking at love. So release that sort of energy and think to yourself, I'm ready, I'm nobody's fool, and I'm not going to rush out and kind of like connect with that first person. You can be picky but open. I think that's fine. Discerning is the best word that we can choose there. Discerning, aware, and open. Those are the three things that you really want to focus on. And let me see what else here. Okay, in disagreements, negotiations, and things of that nature, lead with the heart. We actually take a note from this card, which is heart first, then negotiate. So it can begin with a simple thing. Thanks for your time today. I know you're busy. That's actually a little King of Cups. Or how's everything going? Is this a good time to talk? If you have the luxury of rescheduling. Check in emotionally, express appreciation, a little bit of small talk, a little bit of connection, then get into the point and say, well, I'm glad you're here today. Here's what I've laid out for us. I feel like we can get through this easily. Like this morning, the reason I had to delay this a bit is like I said, I had someone coming over to pick stuff up that I was getting rid of that I couldn't sell or whatever. But what I did to help him was break it all down. And I spent like an hour and a half breaking all this furniture down last night. And he was so appreciative of that. I said, and I even put out at the beginning, I said, I think I made this easy for you. I took some time. I spent a couple hours. It's just some lumber that you need to take to your truck. And I said, I think this is going to be, he's like, yeah, it is going to be easy. Thank you for that. So I began the interaction with something positive and said, I value your time and I saved you some time. And he looked visibly relieved and it went really fast. So do a little bit of work. Let the person know that you value and care for them. Get it, push forward a little bit, and then you won't have to defend yourself. It's going to be easy. You'll actually have, this can be the opposite, which is people knocking on your door wanting your time because you are really sort of nice connecting energy like this. Okay, so if that's happening, you've done your work well. Be discerning. Okay, don't be don't be deceptive for sure, but don't be overly defensive because neither of these are going to be necessary. Be open enough and discerning enough to let opportunities come in and trust that your guides are not going to inundate you with a lot of nonsense. And that actually can be one of your meditations, is just say less but more, like less choices but better. Put it that way. That's better because the universe could get confused. Say fewer choices but better choices, and in those better choices, one that's going to be perfect for me. So we want a smaller sample but a better sample, right? And that's a reason, like in business, that usually 3 is a magic amount. You'll see like good, better, best if you're trying to buy something on a comparison chart. When you get to 5, that's when the brain starts to kind of clock out. At 7, confusion sets in. Anything over 7, you don't know what to do. So limit choices, limit the selection a bit, and that's going to help you focus as well. Okay, let's move on to the viewers and readers' choices and see what additional insights we can kind of find together here. Let me take a quick drink and we'll do the voting. Okay, so let's look at the table together and let's see where some of the trends are for today. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, I'm going to choose this. We have to look at the transitional cards at the center. So the reader's choice is going to be transition, and transition away from sorrow in particular, because if we look at the captions on these cards, that's what that's about. So I'll choose that. You don't have to vote on that one. Let's look at the other ones that you can choose. I want to help you with resource management. So managing resources, I'm going to put like abundance as what we're really trying to accomplish here. Okay, I think also, let's see, for relationships, this is sort of like being able to pull people in the meeting halfway. That's it. So meeting halfway in relationships. And then for your third choice, the opportunity for growth or development, because we have a lot of growth cards here. So opportunity for growth or development. And I feel like that gives you a lot of great things to choose. I'm going to go ahead and let you vote on those now. While you're voting on those, I'm going to take a look at these central pivotal cards here around transition and where you're moving, where you're going with that. Okay, so let me just pull the camera up so I can see it. And we're going to look at this card. All right, so 6 of Swords and 3 of Swords. What are they about? And someone says, I have YouTube asking for what I want. Yes, vote. That's what it's called. It's a poll. So if you're watching live, you get to choose what I just said. All right, focusing back on the question that I have. Reader's choice is, give us some information about 6 of Swords and 3 of Swords, how to transition away from sorrow towards happiness, towards a better tomorrow. And we have the 8 of Swords coming through for this, which is faith. I mean, it's a different way to look at it. Not all that is available to you will be visible to you, is what this card is basically saying. And you may feel this sense of isolation, but this card is also reminding you that you're not alone. So I'll pull the traditional 8 of Swords here so we can see it. It was very close, which is great. So we see someone that feels like they've painted themselves into the corner of the room, that no one hears or sees them, that they are alone. And for some of you, there could just be a final realization that, you know, the people that you've been spending time with, they're just not as engaged or invested in you. And so this is saying, I choose to go to greener pastures. I choose to go to more receptive people. I choose happiness over trying to push this. Because when it comes to any type of relationship, love, or if you're working with someone or trying to learn from them and they're just not invested, they're just not engaged, if you're constantly having to do all of the work, for instance, then what this is saying is that's the universe trying to, we talked about friction earlier, it's trying to agitate you enough to make you move on. So for those of you that really have had it, this card is coming through to say, yes, exactly. Let's move on finally. We're so sorry. Your guides are saying we're so sorry that you had to kind of go through that, but better days await you. Okay? The other thing with this, and we're looking at this, is to not be afraid to ask some questions, because curiosity and inquisitive energy is a great way to get through the 8 of Swords. This sometimes is simply not knowing. And when you have 2 or 8 of Swords coming through, education, knowledge, and research take the blindfolds off. They remove the swords and they open up a passageway. And as you start to take the blinders off and remove some of the boundaries, you're only like two swords away from getting to the 6 of Swords, right? So you can move beyond this. And there are no swords in front of her. There never are in a traditional Rider-Waite. So she could just walk out of this. It feels like a prison, but it's not. And this isn't very strong, what's holding her. She could just kind of like push out. So it's a matter of just deciding, like, I've had enough of this. And that's what it's all about, folks. A little bit of agitation to get you out of that, taking away a couple swords and saying, I'm going to move on, getting some insight, some energy, and some education, and just saying, all right, this is how I'm going to do it as well. Let's see what you chose for me. By a decently large amount. Let's see if it's close enough. 8, 5, 6. Usually I only read both if there's 2. So let's see what, I'm going to end the poll and we'll see what the final amount is. Although the poll won't end for some reason. Let me know if you guys can see and hear me. If not, I'm just going to choose one. Managing resources looks like it's the main one. That's so weird that I can't end it. I'm going to hit a refresh while we're doing that and see if that helps. Mercury retrograde is definitely happening today. Let's see. End poll. There we go. All right. There we go. So now by a very large margin, we have managing resources. It's a lot of fun. I got to tell you, when you're doing readings during retrograde, always expect the unexpected. Did it disappear for the... Yeah, well, it was just weird. So as long as you can see and hear me, we'll deal with we probably won't do any more polls today for that reason. All right, so again, managing resources and abundance. This is how to really go from not having enough. So if you have any debt, or if you are overly busy, or if you wish you had more, we're going to see how you can bring in more. And if you have too much, it's about managing that. So we have the Prince of Cups coming through. Beautiful reflective energy, very again close to what I pulled for the Two of Cups this morning. So a lot of what's going on in your life is emanating from you. So that little furry guy in the background, Apollo, he is so tuned into me. So if I get on the phone and I'm talking to movers or insurance or something else and I get a little stressed out, he'll take one of his toys and he just starts ripping it up, or he starts running around, or he'll come over and lick me. And he basically is like, Dad, stop, relax, it's going to be okay. Don't stress me out too. When we're looking at resources, energetically, they're a lot like my dog. They're going to react to how you feel. You can't do everything with like just projecting feelings, but it is a subtle sort of energy. So when you have a negotiation with someone, like a contract negotiation, if you sit at the table and there's that air of confidence and you're confident because you actually know you're worth it, and it comes across then in the choice of words and in the tone of voice, the negotiation will go better. If in everyday interactions you carry with you a sense of confidence, self-worth, and just sort of connectedness, people are going to value you higher. So there's a big part of this that is saying your resources are a reflection of your feeling of worth. Your net worth is connected to your self-worth. So one of the most important things to draw in resources is to value yourself. This includes putting limits on time. So saying, yes, I would love to meet you. I'm busy today, so I can only do 2 hours, but I'm looking forward to it. So putting up limits, asking for what you need, believing in all of these things when you say and deliver it is ultimately going to make people value you even more. And then someone may say, well, I need a little more time. Could I pay you extra for that? Where did that come from? That's because you put a limit and they really need a little more. And you hold the limit and then you say, okay, well, it's going to cost this, or no, but I can do this tomorrow for this amount. So amazingly enough, limits and belief in worth will actually open up doors. Even when you say no, or you can only do so much, you could leave people wanting more, and that actually will help you with that. And the other thing here is really to focus on balancing yourself out. Because we see here something that is unrealized or unresolved because the Prince of Cups is in reversed. So some of you can actually accomplish a goal or a dream during this period because that's where your heart is leading you. So use your heart as a compass, okay? Good. So an interesting answer to that question, trust your heart and don't give too much would be my last piece here. That's going to help you stay in 8 of Pentacles and away from the 7 of Pentacles. We don't want to focus on people pleasing. We want to focus on doing the best thing and the best job possible. All right, let's move on to the next portion of the reading. We're going to fine tune the messages a bit for the sun, the rising, and the moon signs. As I said earlier, you can watch it for all aspects of your chart if you happen to know that and have it all laid out in front of you. But I do encourage everyone to look at sun, rising, and moon, so I help you out by taking a closer look at all 3 of those. Wow. All right, so the sun The sun card actually just flipped itself out of the deck. We're going to read it as an upright card. It's so positive. Okay, great. So sun is already 10 of cups, which is great. Let's now do rising and moon. Very rarely does a card fly out like that. Rising, moon. Oh my gosh, you have such beautiful cards this month, Libra. 10 of cups, magician, and sun. Wow. All right. So whatever's going on here, even with this, these are manageable. These are great, actually. Let's begin with your sun card. So for sun sign here, we have the 10 of cups. Look at that beautiful rose at the center with the caption of harmony. So you're going from a state possibly where there's some chaos, possibly where it's not exactly where you want it to be, and it's moving more towards the harmonious 10 of cups. So that's something that is definitely to be embraced and to look forward to. Let me just adjust this as well because the light keeps moving in this room. So there we go. So we've got the 10 of cups here. This could be new relationships, new opportunities. For some of you, you might be developing, finding, or connecting with like this newfound family in your life. And that can constitute, again, chosen family, friends, places that you're hanging out and you're just feeling a part of, new community, outreach opportunities. But people for Libra Sun are really coming in loud and clear. And if you're looking for love this month, put yourself out in public situations. If you've been invited to dinner, if you have a chance to go to a seminar or some sort of a group gathering, say yes, because your networking abilities are just kind of like off the charts. And you also have the ability to create harmony or peace in a sort of difficult situation. That's always a trait of Libra, but especially so right now. So it looks beautiful. And I like that if we connect the Libra Sun to the main message that we got as a blessing, we have love coming through twice. So King of Cups and 10 of Cups, love and friendship and partnership are availing themselves to Libra Sun this month. Why not? It's birthday time, right? So good for you. Let's move on to rising. For rising, for those of you that are focusing on starting a new business or changing up your career path or focusing on education, the Magician card is here to help you understand, like, not only can you do this, but you will do it, and you'll do it with great skill and aplomb. It's going to be great. Focus is important, and the sort of decision in your mind that this is what your focus needs to be, like really saying, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it because I deserve to do it, and I'm not going to let these other things get in the way, these fears or these frustrations. This is also a card of chemistry. So you have the ability to show this sort of like charismatic side of yourself that's going to pull people in. The Magician is also an illusion, basically a sorcerer or an illusion maker. So what they can do in this moment is to kind of like cast a spell in a positive way. So people can be brought into your auric field, your excitement, your enthusiasm, and you can help them see your vision, is what I would say in a sort of elevated way. So work your magic. This is going to be really good for career. So pitch an idea, propose something new, send something out for consideration over this period of time for sure. You may not sign the contract right now, but you're going to get the conversation started, and that's exciting, okay? Remember also that thoughts and actions are manifesting, so elevate those thoughts and actions. Think to yourself, this could work out easier than I thought. I recently had a conversation where I sat and stressed about it for like 2 days, and it was like there was nothing to stress about. And my lesson from that is, this could be easier than I imagined. Let this be easier than I imagined. I'm going to make this easier than I thought I was going to have to experience. Just put it out there. Keep saying it in your head until you know this is fine. I'm ready. Even just saying I'm ready. It's good. I'll make this work. All of those are abundant phrases. This is working would be even better than I'll make this work. So I'm ready. This is working. I'm in the flow of creativity. I'm divinely guided, and I will prevail. All of those are great ways to approach things and great energies to kind of connect to with the Magician, okay? But a good month for business and a good month in public forums as well, because the ascendant energy takes us out in all those directions. For moon, ironically, you get the sun. Here's the cool thing. The moon part of your chart can indicate hidden skills, things that you're learning about yourself, things that can surprise people as well. So with the sun energy coming through for moon sign, It's saying, first of all, there is this, I've talked about this before, the earth relies on those two energies for balance. The sun keeps everything in this solar system together, but the moon is actually what really keeps this planet moving at the right speed. It keeps the tides moving in the right way, makes the night sky beautiful, keeps a little bit of light there. It's a very important element to life on this planet. So anyway, don't underestimate that. When we're looking at the sun here, it's saying there's balance. One isn't better than the other. You're an equal participant. This is also even more so than the Magician about personality and charisma. So this is a time for you to turn on your spotlight. Really be gregarious is the word that's coming through, but be outgoing. Be animated and outgoing and engaging. And that's going to help you in all aspects of your life. Show people a different side of your personality, because there is a bright light that maybe you don't let everybody see since it's showing up. The brightest light is in the moon part of your chart. So show them what you've got and surprise them in a good way, and surprise yourself in a good way. And you're going to feel better about this at the end of the day as well. Okay? Birthing, something new could happen right now. So if you're trying to let go of something, if you're trying to create something, the Sun card is great for that. Reinvention is also associated with this, and just power and strength. So it's basically, you got all great cards as I'm looking at Sun, Rising, and Moon. Doesn't always happen that way, but it's looking like a good month ahead. Yes, Libra, there's a little bit of transitional energy here. Yes, there could be a block to that transition. However, strength and this sort of beautiful, abundant card, it's coming through to say, I can do this. I can manage this. You have to really feel it. This month more than ever, you have to really feel it and believe it for those changes to truly come through and shine. All right, before we get into the final portion of the reading, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Like I said, my schedule is going to be very different over the next 7 days. Then it will go back to normal because I'm moving on Sunday, and Monday I'll probably take off. So I'll probably do a Saturday collective instead of Sunday, and then a Tuesday for the next monthly reading that I'll do, which would be Scorpio. So bear with me and hit that bell icon in particular to make sure that you don't miss any notifications. And follow me on social media for more reminders. And thank you in advance for anyone that shows support here. All right, checking in. This is what we've done. Everything up to the final line there. We're going to do a meditation sound bath in the final card. Final card is your chance to ask me a question if there's something that you need help with. We don't do it out loud. It's a silent question, but this is a good chance for you to say, should I do this? Or what's going on with this person or whatever? And I'll do my best to read the card on all its different facets to help you out. Okay? Kind of like my daily card pulls. I'll talk for a minute about what I'm seeing, and then we'll move to the final portion, which is gratitude. All right. For today's meditation, let's take a quick look at the table and see what wants to come through the loudest and the clearest. I really like the transitional energy at the center. I also like the energy of growth. We have a ton of pentacles, so I want to work with the energy of like the forest and things growing around you, and your ability to kind of like touch things and see them growing. So that's the visual that comes to mind. Let me just take another drink of water here, and we're going to go into the meditation. Okay. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, release any tension that you might be holding in your neck, shoulders, or your back. And imagine that you're outside on a warm summer day, and you can see a hammock that's set up in the middle of the woods, where there's just enough light streaming down so that you're not chilly and that you feel like it's inviting. It's like almost something out of a painting where you see big beams of light coming through very tall trees. The air is cool, and it is filled with the beautiful sense of like the petrichor that you would smell after a rainstorm, that kind of earthy scent. You can smell some honeysuckles or lavender in the background, and you're listening to the sounds of the birds as they are creating this sort of beautiful faint symphony of chirps in the background. You allow yourself to just lay down in this hammock, feeling supported by two ancient trees, almost like redwoods is what I'm seeing. And as you look up into these almost limitless branches, looking at the beautiful wood and the green leaves kind of reaching over and the light that's streaming through it, you feel like you are completely at peace. Anything that has taken away your calm, your collected nature. It's gone now. Send it into the two trees on either side of you and allow yourself here suspended in air, which makes a lot of sense for Libra, to just feel like you're in your element, quite literally. And feel free now to just be yourself. Notice all of the life that's around you, that's teeming around you, from the birds and the insects to the grass to all the green flowers and trees. See that this green energy starts to work its way around you, and it almost creates a little bit of a cocoon of energy that warms you up, that kind of really connects to the heart and melts away fear, anxiety, or grief, and just allows that space in your heart to feel safe. So I want you to focus on being loved, being safe, and being open to receive. And as I play the singing bowl, that's all you have to do. All right, when you're ready, I want you to gently open your eyes. Allow yourself to stretch in this forest setting for a moment or two, seeing yourself now reborn, feeling the love and abundance that's always been there, that's always been available, and face the rising sun or the sun above you and just say thank you. Thank you for showing me that I can do this. Thank you for showing me that I am powerful, that I am capable, and carry with you that sense that you are going to be more than enough, more than capable of doing anything that happens and anything that comes your way. All right, just trust in your power. Take a breath or two, and on the next natural exhale, I'd like you to open your eyes. Welcome back. Think of the question that you have for me. Don't speak it, just think it. And I'm going to pull a card to see what the energy and advice is with respect to that question. Okay, we have the Temperance card coming through for this. Temperance is in reverse. With this Temperance card reversed, it's saying, I know what I need to do, and I know that I think that I need everything right now, but I don't. It's enough for me to take one step today. I don't have to leap forward and finish it all. It's kind of like when you're eating. You don't have to eat the whole sandwich in one bite. It's better if you don't. So everything in its cosmic time. And if it's going slower than you want or you think it should, then remember the key to success this month with all the people cards could be partnership for you, reaching out, leaning on someone, asking for help, but in a way that you know that you're going to receive what you're getting because it's a worthy request. So you don't have to do all of this. You don't have to have everything at once. Patience is the biggest and the most important lesson that's coming through with this final question. I also think here that some of you are drawn between a couple of opportunities in your life. Temperance is usually indicated with an angel, and we see the water flowing between the cards, or the cups rather, very similar to what's happening in the star card. It's about balancing things out. So I see also for some of you a choice. Where do I stand? Does this still serve me? Do I still want this in my life? And once you make the choice, everything starts to flow a lot easier for you, okay? So timing could be a little bit tricky in this moment in time. Patience is probably the thing you want to pay the most attention to. And there's a choice. Should I put a little bit more in here? Should I do a little bit less here? There's definitely discernment that happens with temperance. One step at a time is the important thing. As long as you're making a little bit of progress every day, you don't have to do it all at once, okay? As a yes, no, it's a yes, but it's not all going to happen as quickly as you anticipated, okay? That is today's very powerful reading. Definitely a lot of energy came through today, and despite some technology blips here and there, we're good to go. It's actually advantageous that I delayed a little bit because of that power outage earlier, so who knew? Sometimes, again, even retrograde works in our favor. If you enjoyed today, again, please subscribe, follow me on social media, and at this point, I'd like to say thank you to those of you that gave back. First, I'd like to say thanks to everybody that's been with me for, the past 3/4 of a decade. I wouldn't be here without you, so thank you so much for your love and support. Now, I'm going to especially thank anybody that's a new member, and then anybody that gave a sticker or a chat today. So we'll start with the newest members, anyone that joined in the last day or so. Nicola, thank you very much for rejoining after a month. It's good to have you back here. Sarah, I appreciate you joining as well, brand new member. And let's see, I think that's everyone from today or yesterday. Looking at supers, super stickers, and super chats. So let's see who kicked things off today. We have Anna, thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution, and I'm glad you enjoyed this. Jessica, thank you as well. Jeannie, Michelle, and all that, Yaz, and then Kathy as well. Thank you guys for your support. And this is I think this is going to be an amazing month for Libra. As you know, that's my sun placement. So I saw some elements of what I'm going through, but there were other things here that aren't related to me that I see for you that are really exciting. And I think some of you are focusing on growing your business, developing your work, personal development, finding your voice, finding your power. All of these things are going to just bring you into a brand new world. That expansion card and that movement card at the center is also something to really think about with this. For all of you, I think this is a chance to move into something bigger. The moving or the movement or the transition card, it's not always about leaving. It can be about breaking through, right? So this is going to be, I think, for Libra, a nice breakthrough month. And everybody should leave it better than they started. So that's the point of any reading, but I really feel it for you, and it looks great, especially when we broke it down to sun, rising, and moon. That was pretty amazing, okay? Anyway, so great to always be here for all the readings. I appreciate the community. It's actually been a great help as I've been moving through a lot of changes in my life over this year too. So thanks for showing up. It really lets me know that this is making a difference, and that's my goal, okay? So a reminder again, I'm gonna put the poll up. It's a lot for today, but tomorrow we'll be doing the Saturday collective instead of the Sunday. Sunday, wish me luck, I'll be moving. Probably Tuesday, I will restart up the weekly readings, and I will probably do like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. Okay, more to come. I'll try to do my one-day reads, 1 card, 1 minute readings basically each day. I'll maybe get some done in advance, but they may be on the road this time around, okay? Until I see you next, have a great one. Thanks for your love and support, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. And let me see. Oh, I see we got a couple at the end. Marlene, thank you. Aphrodite, goddess as well. Let me see if I missed anybody else. I think that's it. Okay, so thank you. I saw those as I was signing off. All right, have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.